Robert Whittaker. The Justin Gaethje who fought Paddy Pimblett would not beat Ilia Topuria. Former UFC middleweight champion Robert Whittaker has never been shy about offering sharp, technical insight when it comes to elite-level mixed martial arts. Known for his calm demeanor and cerebral fight breakdowns, Whittaker recently sparked debate across the MMA world with a bold assessment: the version of Justin Gaethje that fought Paddy Pimblett would not be capable of defeating Ilia Topuria. Whittaker's comments have ignited discussion among fighters, analysts, and fans alike, not because they diminish Gaethje's legendary reputation, but because they highlight the brutal realities of stylistic matchups, timing, and evolution at the highest level of the sport. This isn't just a matter of names or star power. According to Whittaker, it's about who Justin Gaethje is now, who Ilia Topuria has become, and how modern MMA ruthlessly exposes even the smallest decline. Whittaker's perspective: a champion's eye for detail. Robert Whittaker's credibility as an analyst comes from experience. He has shared the octagon with some of the most dangerous fighters in UFC history, and his breakdowns often focus less on hype and more on movement, defensive responsibility, and decision-making under pressure. When Whittaker discussed a hypothetical Gaethje vs. Topuria matchup, he made a clear distinction between prime Justin Gaethje and the version that stepped into the cage against Paddy Pimblett. The Justin Gaethje that fought Paddy, Whittaker explained, wasn't the same destroyer we saw earlier in his career. Against someone like Ilia Topuria, that version gets punished. It wasn't an insult, it was an observation. Justin Gaethje, a career built on violence and evolution. Justin Gaethje's legacy is secure. A former interim lightweight champion, Gaethje is widely regarded as one of the most exciting fighters the UFC has ever seen. His early run in the organization was defined by reckless aggression, terrifying leg kicks, and a willingness to absorb punishment to deliver even more in return. Over time, Gaethje evolved. Under the guidance of elite coaches, he became more measured, more tactical, and more defensively responsible. This evolution led to championship success and extended his career, but it also came with trade-offs. The Gaethje who fought Paddy Pimblett was older, more cautious, and less explosive. While still dangerous, he no longer fought with the same chaotic pressure that once overwhelmed opponents. Whittaker's point was simple: against Ilia Topuria, caution can be fatal. The Paddy Pimblett fight: a telling performance. The bout against Paddy Pimblett was significant for Gaethje, not just because of the opponent, but because of what it revealed. Gaethje controlled large portions of the fight, using experience and composure to neutralize Pimblett's unpredictability. However, the performance lacked the relentless forward momentum and devastating finishing instincts that once defined Gaethje's prime. Whittaker noted that while Gaethje looked smart, he didn't look overwhelming. Against someone like Topuria, that distinction matters. Ilia Topuria, the new breed of complete fighter. Ilia Topuria represents a new generation of MMA athletes, fighters who blend elite boxing, dangerous grappling, physical strength, and ruthless finishing ability into a single, seamless style. Topuria doesn't just win fights, he breaks opponents down. What makes Topuria particularly dangerous is his ability to apply constant pressure without sacrificing defense. Unlike many aggressive fighters, he rarely overextends. His striking is compact, his head movement sharp, and his grappling transitions immediate and decisive. Whittaker emphasized that Topuria thrives against fighters who hesitate, even briefly. Ilia doesn't give you time, Whittaker explained. If you slow down, he takes ground. If you retreat, he traps you. Stylistic clash: why Whittaker favors Topuria. From a technical standpoint, Whittaker believes the matchup favors Topuria in several key areas. 1. Pressure versus patience. The Gaethje who fought Pimblett relied on patience and counter-striking. Topuria excels at dismantling counter-fighters by cutting off angles and forcing exchanges. 2. Defensive gaps. While Gaethje has improved defensively, he still absorbs damage. Topuria's precise boxing would exploit those openings far more efficiently than Pimblett ever could. 3. Grappling threat. Unlike many of Gaethje's opponents, Topuria is not just a striker. His grappling is elite, and Whittaker believes the threat of takedowns would further limit Gaethje's striking freedom. 4. Age and wear. Gaethje's career has been built on wars. Topuria is fresher, faster, and physically peaking, advantages that matter enormously at the championship level. Not a knock on Gaethje's legacy. Whittaker was careful to clarify that his comments were not an attack on Gaethje's career. Prime Gaethje is a different conversation, Whittaker acknowledged. That guy was a nightmare for anyone. But MMA is unforgiving. Matchups are snapshots in time, and Whittaker's argument hinges on current form, not historical greatness. The brutal truth of MMA evolution. One of the hardest realities for fans to accept is that greatness is temporary. Fighters age, reflexes slow, and margins shrink. Meanwhile, new contenders arrive with better training, better data, and fewer miles on their bodies. Ilia Topuria is the embodiment of that evolution. Where previous generations relied on toughness and grit, fighters like Topuria combine scientific preparation with killer instinct. They make fewer mistakes, and they capitalize on every mistake their opponents make. Whittaker's analysis reflects this broader shift in the sport. Fan reaction: divided but engaged. As expected, Whittaker's comments split the MMA community. Some fans argued that Gaethje's power and experience would always give him a chance. Others agreed with Whittaker, pointing out that Topuria's composure and finishing ability would likely overwhelm the older lightweight. What most agreed on, however, was that Whittaker's take was thoughtful, not disrespectful. What this says about Ilia Topuria's standing. Perhaps the most telling aspect of Whittaker's statement is what it says about Topuria's reputation. For a former champion like Whittaker to confidently say that a respected veteran like Gaethje would struggle against Topuria, even hypothetically, speaks volumes about how highly Topuria is regarded within fighter circles. This isn't promotional hype, this is peer recognition. Conclusion: timing is everything. In the end, Robert Whittaker's analysis boils down to one core truth: fights are about timing, form, and style, not resumes. Justin Gaethje remains one of the most iconic fighters of his era. But according to Whittaker, the version of Gaethje who fought Paddy Pimblett would be stepping into the cage at the wrong time, against the wrong opponent, with too many disadvantages to overcome. Ilia Topuria, in Whittaker's eyes, represents the future, sharp, relentless, and unforgiving. And in modern MMA, the future rarely waits for the past to catch up.